Hi everyone, it's Tanya with Riley & Company here with a quick video on how to assemble and paint our new Trick or Treat candy dish. You're going to love it. It is the coolest candy dish you will ever have. Okay, when you get your kit, this is what's going to be in your kit. You have instructions. They're very detailed instructions on what goes where, so you shouldn't have any problem, but just in case you do, I wanted to show you how easy it is to assemble this. Now this is what you're going for. Okay, the colored version is on the kit cover, so you have a guide as to the colors that I used if you would like to color it. I will say please color all of your pieces before you put it together. It will make it much easier. This one I have already colored black because I wanted to show you how to paint it as well. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your front fence piece. If you notice, there's two trees on each side. You're going to find the side gate piece that has the tree because we are just going to interlock those just like this. It might be quite snug, and that's okay. Just be careful not to break these pieces. Going to find the other side, and now you have them interlocked together. It looks like a little tree from both sides, and you're just going to take some glue and glue those to your base, just like that. Very simple. Now, you can, if you would like, glue the pieces on after you've put it together. All you have to do is look for the image and match it to the pumpkin. And for example, this image has the stem going that way, this goes the other way, so it's a different pumpkin that's in your little bag. There's also pieces for the skull, and you also have two pumpkins on each side. When you glue it down, just make sure that you are nice and flush along the bottom, and it will snap right in place for you. That's all there is to it. The back piece, after you take care of it, does the exact same thing. It just slides down on these two poles, and then you have your candy dish. Easy peasy. Now, let me show you how easy it is to paint this. Oh, before I do, on the back piece, I hope you can see, there are your letters. All of your wood, everything is scored onto this piece, so it makes it super easy to find your letters after you're done painting them and just glue them on. Really easy. Now I painted my letters black as well, and I used a Posca pen, which is a paint pen, to color in the lines in the middle. If you guys can see that. Really easy to do. I also used spray paint to spray these orange first and use my Posca pens to color them in. That's as easy as the painting goes. Now, let's get started with this guy. Now I'm going to show you how to paint to get it to look like this. Pretty fun, huh? And it's really way easier than you would think. So let me get you started on these little guys. All I did, as I mentioned before, I just spray painted them orange with bright neon orange spray paint. And then I came in with a Posca pen, and I just did the little yellow on there, and then I coated them with crystal lacquer. I hope you guys can see that. Or glossy accents, or whatever it is that you use. Same with this little guy. Just painted him white with a paint pen. And the same with these. Now, when I did the letters, I spray painted them purple first. And then on the inside pieces, I used a Posca pen on those. I also put crystal lacquer on those, set those aside, let everything dry. Okay, now let's go to this back piece. On the back piece, I sprayed it first, but you can still see where everything goes, right? And on the sides, you can see where the wood is supposed to be. Now, it's kind of cool like this, but I would prefer it to be really awesome and look like wood. So I just grabbed like a sagey color green, and I grabbed a gray, and I grabbed a brown because, you know, old rickety wood is gray and brown and kind of dingy. And then I grabbed this to make it look kind of like moss. So these are just regular craft paints that you can get anywhere. And all I did was shake them up, and we will put a little bit on our mat of each one. Just like this. Now I don't use one color specifically, so what I'm going to do is I have a brush that's about 1/8 of an inch. Not 1/8 of an inch, I'm sorry, about 1/4 of an inch, somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4. Okay, just a flat brush. And I'm going to bring my paint out and bring this out and bring that out, and I'm going to get a little combination. I'm just going to rotate my brush and get a little combination of both, and I'm going to come in where I see the lines on here and just come up the side like this. And it's really not a precise motion, you know, it's just kind of random. I don't want to put too much paint on. So then I come back from the other side and I just find those marks and just grab some paint. And I'm pushing down and lifting off. Kind of like you would, I don't know, flick a blending pen or something? I don't know. So, and you don't want it all to be the same. You want different paint in different spots, right? So see how easy that is? Then I'm going to come along the top and just pull it in, and it goes really, really fast. Now I'm going over the letters, and that's okay because I'm going to put the letters on later. So just come back, and it really doesn't take near as much paint as I have here. Let's start over here. See how quick that is? And then you get it done and people think, oh, how did you do that? Right? Super easy. And this is the first paint that I put down, so I really don't care if it's going on the windowsills or anything like that. Get a little more brown in here, and then I add some grays on this side. So I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm putting brown on one side and rolling it and putting gray on the other side, and then just not putting a whole lot on there because you want it to look rustic, not painted. And from this other side, we'll grab a little bit more and come in here. And that's as easy as it is. And now we have our layout there. So now I'm going to do the rooftops. Okay, so the rooftops, I want the same color, but I want it more green because I imagine that it's moss covered, right? So I'm doing the same thing, only it has a little more of this bright green in it. And you can kind of follow along. I'm just getting a color down to start with, and then I'll show you what to do after that. And I could fuss with this all night long because I love painting this way. It's a no muss, no fuss. So now we have green roofs, kind of spooky, right? And depending on your paint, it might beat up a little bit. That's what you're looking for too. So we want, now we're going to come back with a little bit of gray and a little of this green and maybe a little bit of brown. And you can see that there are shingle marks in there. So I'm going to come up like this and make it look like shingles are kind of falling off a little bit. It's a very light touch, very, very light. And it goes really quickly. And as you can tell, I'm not using a whole lot of paint. I'm just doing a little bit of variation. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason into the colors that I'm using. I'm just, see, that's a little too much brown, no worries, because we're going to come back and fix it later. But since there's brown up there, I'm just going to bring it the rest of the way so it looks intentional, right? Now I want it to really look mossy, so I'm going to take my green, and I'm not going to add anything to it, and I'm just going to bring it down all over the edges. And you just kind of have to think, so where would moss be hiding at? Yep, it would be under the easements, over the top. And once we get the rooftops done, now these little pieces right here, you're going to use your pen and do red because they're little devilish things. So there's a line right here. I do not know if you can see it, but underneath here, there's a line where the roof line is. And the same as over here, and the same as over here. Now you can either use a Posca pen to fill that in, or you can just take some brown and go right across there. Do you need to worry about whether it's straight or not? Nope. Not at all. Because this is crickety old wood. Nothing's straight. So there's that. Now I have a little bit of brown left, right? So I'm just going to come in and randomly bring it in just to give a little bit of interest. This is kind of a cross between dry brush, I guess, and messy, maybe? Now I'm just going to bring one more line across here. Because I'm going to come back, I'm going to just kind of get that off there. And I'm going to bring, not all the way across, just on this little edge. I want it to look like moss is going down over the edge. And we're going to do that under a windowsill. Now see this? That is too much. I had too much on my paintbrush. So I'm just going to wipe it off. And I'm going to pick up that extra paint so those lines are not real visible. Come back, do a little bit under this window. Now, everything is completely done on here, believe it or not, but I want some moss to look like it's kind of pooled up here. So I got not quite a bit, but way more than I have been using for this dry brush technique. Just put a little bit on your tip and just touch along the windowsill only, and it will pool right there. In here. And a little up there. And that's going to go all the way across because, you know, it's kind of spooky that way. And then just a little bit more under this. And I'm just going to bring what's left of my brush and just bring it down a little bit. Now, I took a pen and colored in the windowsills in an orange just because it was nice and bright. Now, the final thing that we're going to do is the bottom part of your candy dish. I spray painted green so it looked like a yard, right? But we don't want it to be a straight line sitting on yard. We want it to look like there's some kind of grass there that meets it. So anything underneath this line right here is going to be down in the wood part. So I'm just going to take my brush and a little bit of paint and pretend that there's like mossy grass up in here. And the key is to make sure that it doesn't look like a paintbrush did it. So I just turn back and forth, and I pounce it down and turn it a little bit. And the key is just not to get too much paint on there. And if you do, go back. But we don't want any harsh lines. Just go back and take it off and redo a little bit. And that is all there is to painting the base of your candy dish. One last thing before I go, I wanted to show you what I did on the sides after I painted it. So I got it all assembled and put everything in place, but these were solid black and they just didn't quite look right. So I just went along and did the same thing and pretended that there was moss all over these fence posts, right? Well, because there probably would be. So I just add a little bit to the edges, and then when I come to the front, I want to do the same thing. So along the fence, I'm sure there's moss, right? And there's probably moss in this little tree and probably some here. And then I go around to the other side and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Heck, there might be moss on your pumpkin. Who knows? You know, moss is pretty invasive. And you can do whatever you choose. Just like that. I hope you enjoyed the painting and assembly video. If you paint yours up, we would love to see how you did it. You can post it in our Facebook fan page for Riley and Company. Thank you so much. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe. Have a great day. Take care.